What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this very quick review, hopefully, of Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 16, Are You In or Are You Out? So what I want to do is I just want to go through all the couples and I want to give my predictions of who I think is going to stay together because decision day is tomorrow, Wednesday. I think it's May the 4th. So Lindsay and Mark, I think Lindsay and Mark are going to want to stay together. I think that they're very dysfunctional and I think that they thrive on that dysfunctionality. I think Lindsay is going to want to stay with Mark because she sees him as a project. She sees him as a challenge. I think she wants to redo Mark. She wants to remake him into something that she herself wants. I think that's why she's going to say yes to him. I think that Mark is going to say yes to Lindsay because I think he likes to be taken care of. As much as he talks about how sometimes she's a little bit too much, I think he does enjoy the fact that she kind of puts she puts order in his life. She gives him some kind of direction. If there's ever a problem, she's there to fix it. And not a lot of women are going to do that for him. So for that reason, I think that they're both going to say yes. They're going to choose to stay together. Noi and Steve. Now, as the season has progressed, I think Noi has become very annoying to me. In the beginning, I did like her. I thought she was fun. I thought she was like kind of quirky. I thought she was very energetic. But as the season wore on, I got worn out with Noi. Now, I understand her biggest issue with Steve is him getting a job. That's like her big thing. And that's totally understandable. I agree with her on that 100%. He needs to bring in some income. I totally agree with her with that. I don't see things the way Steve sees them, like, oh, I just want to do what I want to do right now. I'm finding myself. I don't have to work as long as I'm taking care of things financially. I don't agree with the way he sees things. I think that's great if you're going to be single, but if you're going to be married and you want to have a family and you have a wife to take care of, you can't think that way. So with that part, I agree with Noi. Now, the thing that bothers me about Noi and where I really fell off with her was when she talked about living separately. That makes no sense to me. Now, I understand that living in separate homes as a married couple can definitely work, but I think it can work if it's for convenience, if it's like a necessity. Like, for example, one partner or one spouse, their commute is like extremely long. And so it just makes more sense, if they have like a really good job, it just makes more sense for them to maybe get an apartment or something closer to their place of employment and then maybe come home on the weekends or whatever. I have no problem with that. I also have no problem for couples who are a little bit older, maybe who are very much set in their ways and they don't really want to change too much. They still want to be together, but whatever, live separately. Fine, I get it. I also get it if you've been married at least maybe 15, 20 years plus and y'all cannot really live together anymore. It's like y'all still have love for each other. Y'all still want to be married to each other, but y'all just can't like do that day-to-day living thing. Y'all kind of need your space and y'all have put in the work. Y'all have lived together for like several years. Y'all have definitely put in the work, but now it's come to a point where it's like, okay, you know what? I really can't stand you. And I have to live in a separate home if I'm not going to kill you. That I have no problem with. But for a young couple starting off, especially a young couple that plans to have a family, it makes no sense to me. Noi talks about how she doesn't know how to communicate because of her childhood. She was stifled as a child. She wasn't allowed to express her feelings. She wasn't allowed to express her thoughts. Children were only seen and not heard in her household, whatever, etc. And then she uses that as why she can't talk about certain things. Like, oh, I can't talk to you about certain things. I have to go post it on social media because I don't know how to communicate. Or I don't ask a lot of questions about his job because I don't know how to communicate. But then when it comes to living separately, she has no problem communicating that because she's communicated that to him several times that she wants to live separately when, after decision day. She wants to stay married, but she wants to keep her apartment. Now, either this girl has found a way to control a man without knowing that he's being controlled. And what I mean by that is this. I think that she doesn't want to be like married to him, but she still wants to continue seeing him. Like she sees some potential there and she doesn't want to let go of him just yet, or she is like very attracted to him and wants to keep him, but doesn't really want to do this whole marriage thing. And for her to still stay married to him, then he won't have a reason to go be with other people or to see someone else or whatever, because they're still married. So she's like, okay, we're going to be dating, but he's not going to have the freedom of a guy who's just dating because he's going to be locked down in this marriage with me. So I will still see him. We'll still do whatever we want to do, but we're married. So he's not going to have too much freedom to go, completely out there. So, and to leave me, he has to file papers. He just can't be like, okay, over the phone or by text, I'm breaking up with you. No, you have to go to the courthouse and file paperwork. And, so it's going to be hard to just walk away from her. That's what I think, because this doesn't make any sense. You're a young couple, you want to have a family, but you want to live in separate homes. It's kind of like, I don't want to be married to him, but I still want him around. But if she were to say to him on decision day, I don't want to be married to you, but can we still date? He's probably most likely going to say, hell no. So this is a way for her to keep him without having to put in the work of building a marriage the way he wants it, like a traditional marriage where the husband and wife live together. So I think she just found like a loophole in this situation of keeping him without really putting in the work or doing something that she really doesn't want to do, which is to live with an unemployed husband. So I think on decision day, oh, and that's another thing. If they do it like that, if I was Steve, if I was one of Steve's buddies, I would tell him, you know what, if that's what she wants to do and you really want to be with this woman, okay, fine. Do the whole living separately thing. But look, you let her know, since we're not doing a traditional marriage and you are so hell bent on not living with me, let me also tell you what I want that's not traditional. You're not going to ask me what I'm doing. You're not going to ask me where I'm going. You're not going to ask me who I'm seeing. When we're not together, my time is my time for me to do whatever the hell I want to do. But when we are together, I can devote all of my attention to you. But as soon as you go to your home and I go to my home, no questions about what we're doing when we're not together. That's what I would tell her. So as far as they go, I think that they're going to end up saying, I think, I don't know. I think Steve might say no and Noi might say yes, because I think that she sees something in him that she doesn't want to walk away from. So I think she might end up saying yes, and she's going to try to convince him to live separately. But I think Steve is going to be like, I want a traditional marriage. I want a wife who's with me every single day. That's why I signed up for this. So he's probably going to end up saying no. Olajuwon and Katina. So Olajuwon is acting very strange. He's always acted strange to me, because it's like, the way he treats Katina, like he's her life coach, like he's her parent, like he's her professor, like he's trying to guide her, he's trying to mold her, he's trying to give her advice on how to live life, and it's just rubbed me the wrong way from day one. So whenever he is with her, he just glorifies her. You make me happy. You make me smile. I'm a better man because of you. You make life worth living, blah, blah, blah. Just constantly building her up, building her up, building her up. But then when he's with other people, he doesn't say those things. He talks about all of her faults, her shortcomings, what bothers him about her. Like when he had that meeting with Lindsay, and Lindsay said, okay, so it seems like the only problem that y'all are having is like the family planning, like exactly when to have kids, because y'all want to travel and she wants to go back to school and blah blah blah. And he's like no, that's not the only problems that we have. Let me see where my notes are with it, because I did make notes about that. He's like, no, that's not the only problem that we have. He says to Lindsay that, and I want to get this completely right. He says to Lindsay that, she's lacking in life experience. And he says, if you have kids, because he says something about her cooking. And Lindsay was like, yeah, I hear that she cooks for you all the time. She's always cooking for you. And he's like, no, she's trying to cook. And then he says, if you're going to have kids, you have to know how to cook. And that's what I expect. Okay. Once again, he talks about her like she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing, like, as far as he's concerned. I thought she was cooking, but he's like, no, she's trying to cook. And so then Lindsay says, okay, whatever. And so then Olajuwon says that even though Katina works from home, she has a lot of free time. So then he downplays like what she does with her day. He talks about how even though she works from home, she could do a whole lot more. I guess it's the cooking thing. Maybe when he comes home and she hasn't cooked, or she cooks something that's like really quick and easy, he's like, what the hell is this? And maybe Katina's like, well, I'm sorry, but I work all day. But in Olajuwon's eyes, if you're working from home, you have a lot of time to do other things while you're working, whereas if you were working outside the home where you don't have that option or whatever. But the way he was talking about Katina to Lindsay, it was very negatively. The way he talked about Katina to Dr. Pepper, it was very negatively. The way he talked about Katina in front of the whole group when they all went out to dinner and and we all found out about the app on her phone, it was very negatively. It's like when he's with her, he's praising her, but then when he's with other people, he talks like bad about her. So the thing about Olajuwon and Katina that also stuck out for me was when she was getting ready to leave, she was packing up her suitcase because all the wives are going to be staying away from the apartments. They're going to go to a hotel or something. So this is before decision day. So as she's packing up her stuff, they're having a conversation, and he's praising her, whatever, and then the question comes up about decision day, and he says to her that she needs to, and it was like he was giving her a farewell speech, like this was going to be like, this is like the end. That's the kind of speech he gave. So he was telling her, you need to make the decision. You need to decide whatever's going to be best for you. Don't worry about how anybody else is going to think, how anybody else is going to feel. You do what's best for you. And if you want to be selfish, be selfish. Kind of like he was trying to say that she needs to choose to not stay with him so that she can pursue her dreams and finish off her education and start her career and go do all the things that she wants to do. Because this whole entire time, not this whole entire time, but like the last quarter of the season or whatever, Olajuwon has been putting this pressure on her, like there's no way she can finish school, be a wife, and be a mom. He made it seem like, if you're going to be married to me, I'm going to be demanding a lot from you, and you need to be ready. And because he was constantly asking her, are you going to be able to do both? Can you do this and that and all of this? Can you do all of this? Are you sure you can? I don't think you can. It's going to be really hard for you to do all this and that. Like going to school and working and being his wife and raising kids. And he was like, I don't think you're going to be able to do all of that. Like he was constantly like making her like feel doubtful if she can do all the things that she wants to do. So when he tells her, be selfish, do what you want to do, make yourself happy. It was kind of like he was telling her, don't let me get in the way of you accomplishing your goals and your dreams. Like he's trying to tell her that, choose no, so that you don't want to be with me. And so you can go pursue whatever you need to pursue for yourself. And then he tells her, because I'm going to be selfish. I'm only going to think of me. I'm going to choose what's best for me. So I don't know if he's trolling us. I don't know if he's pranking her. I don't know if he's pranking us. Like he's going to act like he's not going to say yes, but at the end of the day, he's going to say yes. But if I have to go with my gut feeling, I have a feeling that he's going to say no. Olajuwon's probably going to say no. And if they ask Katina first, I think Katina's going to say yes. So, that's going to be the end of that marriage, because I've always felt like he really was not that into her. It was kind of like, that situation where the girl literally like checks all the boxes of what he's looking for and what he needs, and there's nothing wrong with her. He said, I want you to cook. She started to learn how to cook. She's attractive. She's trying to make him happy all the time. She's listening to what he says. She even said in this episode that she likes his tough love. I like your tough love because it makes me better. Okay, that's what she said. So she seems like someone who's constantly trying to please him. Like she's bending over backwards to make him happy. But I think that he has searched deep down in his soul to find some type of feelings for her, and he just couldn't. And I feel like because she's so sweet and because she's so willing to make him happy, I think that's what he's struggling with. Like I can either say yes because she's such a sweet girl and she probably is right for me, but I just don't really feel that way about her. So I can either say yes and risk being miserable because I'm just not that into her like that, or I can break her heart and say no. And he doesn't want to do either. And I think that's why Olajuwon always looks really like pent up and really like on edge and like a ball of nerves. That's how he seems to me. I don't see Olajuwon as anybody who's like very relaxed and just chill, like Mike. Like Mike is always chill. Olajuwon is just like, I don't know. I can't explain it. Like he's stressed about something, and he's probably very stressed about what he's going to say on decision day. And also the intimacy, I do think that they have been intimate with each other, because I think that's the only that it makes sense to me that they have been intimate, because she's so into him and I don't understand why. And she cries over him, like when the producer asked her in this episode, what if this ends up in divorce? And then she started crying. So for her to get emotional over this whole situation and get emotional over Olajuwon, to me, I feel like it only has to be because of the fact that she does have feelings for him and that they have been intimate. Because, for women, it's a little bit different. You know, like when we decide to take that next step with the man, it's kind of like we really are digging him. You know, we really are feeling him. So I think they did take that next step. They did something. Something's going on in that bedroom. Something is happening, but it's not them just snuggling and going to sleep. So I do feel like they have been intimate in some way, and that's why she's like so emotional over him. So I think he's gonna say no, most likely, and I think that if they ask her first, she's gonna say yes. If they ask him first and he says no, I feel like she's gonna save face and say no. Jasmina and Michael, everything about them seems to be perfect. Like they have done the work, they have evolved, they have gotten closer. All the things that they were supposed to do, they've done. On paper, this relationship is almost perfect. But what's lacking is she has no romantic feelings for him. She just doesn't have those feelings at all for him. And she told her friend that she's open to taking that next step with him. She's open to the idea of connecting with him in that way. And so the friend told her, well, because you're running out of time, decision days on is coming quickly, just give it your all. You and him should just give it your all. I don't know if he was trying to tell him to go ahead and hook up, but he was like trying to tell her, just go to the max with whatever you got to do to decide on whether or not y'all are going to be together. But she ended up, she had to leave that, like soon after that, she had to leave because, decision day is coming. So I don't know how this is going to go. I really feel like they're going to say no because Mike doesn't want to be with someone who doesn't have those feelings for him, and she just doesn't have those feelings for him. If I were to give them advice, I would tell Jasmina and Michael to stick it through because I think that they are really good together. I think that she will grow to be attracted to him. I think those feelings will eventually come over time if she opens up her mind to it, and if he takes that, goes a little bit further with her, because he's always trying to be respectful, like, okay, I'm gonna hold her hand and see how she feels, and if she kind of stiffens up, I'm gonna let go, instead of just like being a little, I don't want to say the word aggressive, but instead of like taking a little bit more initiative and like, even if she's not like just falling into your arms, as long as she's not saying no and like pushing you away, then maybe you can go in for that goodnight kiss. Maybe you can hold her hand a little bit longer or whatever, because she says that he does try. He'll sit next to her, he'll hold her hand, and all of that she's fine with. But he's so worried about being rejected by her. I guess that's why he doesn't really do anything more than just hold her hand or sit next to her. I don't understand what's going on with that. But I feel like they're probably going to end up saying no to each other. That's my prediction with Jasmina and Michael. And that's my review. Thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. And don't forget to subscribe if you like this content. If you don't like it, that's perfectly okay. Thank you for stopping by anyway. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.